Welcome to section 11.17, part 4. This is the 124th session of the CISSP exam prep series. This part gets physical, covering the cabling, layouts, and media that carry your data. In this session, we'll cover the physical fabric of the network. We'll answer several questions. What shapes the quality of a transmission medium? How do the common cable types compare? Why does cable length have a limit? How is the network laid out and organized? And what underlying signaling technologies make it all work? Why does this matter beyond the exam? Because the most common cause of a network going down is not a clever attack, it is a cable. Picture a hospital wing where a run of the wrong cable, stretched too far past its limit, drops connections at random during patient care. Availability is a security property, and the physical layer is where it quietly lives or dies. Knowing your media and layouts lets you build for uptime and resilience from the ground up. What shapes the quality of a transmission medium? A handful of physical factors, and they apply whether the path is a cable or open air. Attenuation is the loss of signal strength over distance. Interference is unwanted signals, from electrical noise or radio sources disrupting yours. Noise is random variation that distorts the signal. Jitter is uneven delay between packets, and bandwidth is the range of frequencies the medium can carry, which caps how much data flows. Propagation delay is simply the time a signal takes to travel end to end. Design well, and these stay in check. Ignore them, and your data arrives late, garbled, or not at all. Think of a garden hose. Too long, too kinked, or too narrow, and the water dribbles out weak. How does coaxial cable fit in today? Mostly as a legacy and specialty medium. It has a copper core wrapped in insulation, a braided shield, and an outer sheath, which gives it decent resistance to interference. It once carried local networks widely, but was long ago overtaken by twisted pair wiring. Now you are far more likely to see it linking an antenna to a television or running from the wall to a cable modem than serving as network cable. Its classic weaknesses were bending it too sharply and breaking the core, running it past its length limit, or failing to terminate and ground it properly. Picture an old garden hose you keep around for one specific outdoor tap, not for daily use. Why is twisted pair the everyday workhorse? Because it is thin, flexible, cheap, and clever. It bundles 4 pairs of copper wires, each pair twisted at its own rate. And that twisting is the trick. It cancels out interference and reduces crosstalk, where a signal on one pair bleeds onto another. Tighter twists mean more resistance to noise and higher possible throughput. Add a foil shield and you get the shielded variety for noisy environments. Leave it off and you have the common unshielded kind. The categories climb in capability as the twists tighten and the quality improves. Its main pitfalls are using too low a category for the speed you need, or running it past its length limit. Picture braided rope. The tighter the weave, the stronger and cleaner it pulls. Why does a cable have a maximum length at all? Because the metal fights the signal. Copper is a fine, affordable conductor, but it still resists the flow of electrons, and that resistance degrades the signal over distance, the attenuation we met earlier. Each cable's rated length marks where that degradation starts to interfere with clean transmission. Push past it and you get more errors and retransmissions. And the faster the speed, the sooner attenuation bites, so shorter runs suit higher speeds. You can extend reach with repeaters that boost the signal, but there is a classic rule limiting how many repeaters and segments you can chain between 2 nodes on older shared networks. Think of shouting a message down a long hallway. Eventually you need someone posted partway to relay it, but too many relayers garble it. What makes fiber optic cable special? It sends light instead of electricity. That gives it remarkable speed and makes it nearly immune to tapping and interference. A real security advantage, and its cost premium has shrunk over time. It comes in 2 flavors. Single mode carries 1 light signal down a thin core with low attenuation over long distances and huge bandwidth. Multi-mode carries several signals down a wider core with more attenuation and shorter reach. A multiplexing technology lets many independent data streams share 1 fiber at once, each on a different wavelength of light, multiplying capacity. Picture separate colored laser beams traveling the same glass thread without ever mixing. How is the network organized beneath the cabling? Through its transport architecture, and 3 ideas anchor it. First, Topology is the physical or logical layout of devices and links, which shapes scalability and fault tolerance. Second, network functions divide into planes. The data plane forwards user traffic. The control plane decides how that forwarding happens and maintains the tables, and the management plane handles configuration and monitoring. Separating them lets you modify one without disturbing the others. Third is a switching choice. Cut-through forwards, a frame the instant it reads the destination for low latency, while store and forward buffers the whole frame first for better error checking. Think of a mailroom that either flings each letter onward the second it sees the address, or inspects each one fully before sending it. What are the basic network topologies? There are 4 classic layouts, and each handles failure differently. A ring connects systems in a loop where a token grants the right to transmit, but a single break can halt the whole loop unless it has redundant paths. A bus ties every system to one shared backbone, so any one segment failing spares the others. Yet that central line is a single point of failure, and any disconnection can down the network. A star wires each system to a central hub or switch, so one failed segment leaves the rest working, though the hub itself is the single point of failure. And a mesh links systems through many redundant paths, surviving multiple failures at the cost of far more cabling. Picture a city's roads. A single ring road, one main street, spokes from a roundabout, or a dense grid of interconnections. Why is Ethernet the dominant local technology? Because it is a proven, shared media approach that just works. It lets many devices share one medium, but requires them to take turns and manage collisions, using broadcast and collision domains. It supports full two-way communication, usually rides twisted pair cabling, and typically deploys as a star or bus. Its data travels in units called frames, and its speed grades have climbed from fast to gigabit to 10 gigabit tiers. Ethernet is not one thing, but a bundle of supporting technologies working together. Think of a well-run town hall meeting where everyone shares one microphone but follows the rules for when to speak. What signaling technologies underpin all of this? A few fundamental choices about how bits move. Signals are either analog, a continuous wave that varies smoothly, or digital, crisp on-off pulses that resist distortion far better over distance. Communication is either synchronous, paced by a shared clock for high-speed transfer, or asynchronous, using start and stop markers, better for smaller bursts. And a medium is either baseband, carrying a single channel at a time, which is how Ethernet works, or broadband, carrying many simultaneous channels by dividing up frequencies. As with cable and fiber services, these pairings are the grammar of every link. Picture the difference between a steady drum beat keeping a band in time and musicians cueing each other by nods. So let's bring it together. The quality of any medium comes down to physical factors like attenuation, interference, and bandwidth. Coax survives mainly as legacy and specialty cable. Twisted pair is the flexible everyday workhorse, and fiber sends light for speed and security. Cable length is capped by conductor resistance, and repeaters extend it within limits. The network is organized by topology and by separated planes, with a cut-through or store and forward switching choice. The 4 topologies trade redundancy against cost. Ethernet rules the local network, and analog versus digital, synchronous versus asynchronous, and baseband versus broadband are the underlying signaling grammar. In the final part, we cover how devices share the medium. The MCQs covering all the topics and concepts from this session are available on rucloud.com. Practice the chapter-specific MCQs before moving on to the next session. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or feedback, post a comment below or email us. I will see you in the next session.